You know those stories, right? The ones that go viral and have you checking over your shoulder for like the next week? But what if that monster in the closet wasn't a monster at all? What if it was something scientific? I mean, that question kind of flips the whole ghost story on its head, doesn't it? We're just so used to these tales of hauntings. But what if all that weird stuff, the things that go bump in the night, what if there was a reason for it? A real reason we could actually measure and, well, understand? And that's really the heart of what we're going to get into. Think of it this way. On the surface, you've got this super spooky story. You've got the ghost. But if you dig just a little deeper, hidden from view, there's often this logical, scientific explanation just waiting to be found. All right, so first up, let's talk about where these stories even come from. See, in the age of the internet, spooky legends aren't just told around a campfire anymore. No way. They get shared with millions of people in a single click, and they basically become our modern-day folklore. You've seen them, right? Those grainy photos of shadowy figures, the stories about houses with some dark, twisted past. These things are literally built to terrify us. They tap right into our deepest fears. And of course, with social media, they just spread like wildfire. Before you know it, they're cemented as these modern legends. Okay, so to really break this all down, let's zoom in on one specific story. It's one you've probably heard in a million different forms. The classic haunted house. Yeah, this sounds just like the start of a horror movie, doesn't it? You can feel that slow, creeping dread. A family, in their own home, the one place on Earth they're supposed to feel safe, and then they get that chilling feeling that they're not alone. And this is the evidence, right? This is the proof. Hearing strange whispers, seeing shadowy figures out of the corner of your eye, that constant awful feeling of dread. I mean, any one of those is creepy enough on its own. But when you put them all together, yeah, it's pretty easy to see why someone would be totally convinced their house is haunted. So this brings us to a fork in the road. What do you do? Do you call in the ghost hunters? Or do you start looking for a completely different kind of explanation? Okay, for our purposes, let's go with option 2. Let's tackle this whole mystery from a totally different angle. And this is a really important shift in thinking. The whole investigation pivots away from ghosts and spirits and turns toward hard science. We're talking physics, medicine. So the question stops being who is haunting this house, and it becomes what is causing these terrifying experiences. And what happened? Well, after a bit of rational digging, the ghost was finally unmasked. And the truth? Well, the truth turned out to be way more dangerous than any spirit. So meet our ghost, carbon monoxide. You've probably heard it called the silent killer, and for good reason. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. A broken furnace or a leaky stove could be flooding a home with this stuff, and you would have absolutely no idea until it's already too late. So the big question is, how does a simple gas leak create what feels like a full-blown haunting? Well, the process is actually terrifyingly simple. When you breathe in carbon monoxide, it starts replacing the oxygen in your bloodstream. Your brain gets starved of the oxygen it needs to function, and that's when it starts to, well, malfunction in some really strange and really scary ways. Okay, now check this out. It's a direct comparison. On one side, you've got the ghost story. On the other, the real story, what's actually happening. So those whispers people were hearing, auditory hallucinations. The shadowy figures they saw, visual hallucinations. And that horrible feeling of dread, that's a classic symptom of heightened paranoia and anxiety from, you guessed it, not enough oxygen. Every single paranormal thing that happened has a direct medical explanation. It all lines up. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? I mean, it's about more than just one creepy story, right? It's about a much bigger, more powerful idea that science can actually be our greatest weapon against fear. And that's the lesson here, really. Sometimes, the monster isn't hiding under your bed. It's literally in the air you're breathing. It's just a powerful reminder that our own perception of reality can be super fragile, especially when our brains are being tricked by something we can't even see. So what can you take away from this? Well, think of this as your toolkit for debunking myths. The next time you hear a scary story, just try thinking like a scientist. Ask yourself, okay, what's the actual evidence? Is there any other possible explanation? Could something else be at play here? Just asking those questions can start to replace that fear with real understanding. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? Science isn't just some boring subject you took in school. It's a whole way of thinking. It's a tool that every single one of us can use to cut through all the noise, get to the truth, and just make sense of the world around us.
It really gets you thinking, right? I mean, from UFO sightings to all those mysterious disappearances, how many of our modern myths are just sitting there waiting for the right scientific discovery to come along and solve them? It makes you wonder, what unexplained mystery is science going to solve next?